Hello there and welcome to the garden. Oh my gosh, the carpenter bees are out and they are buzzing around. Okay, I wanted to come out today and film a little video and share with you a bunch of stuff that I planted because last night it was getting dark, but I had a couple minutes after the girls had gone to bed and I just got out here and started planting and I got a bunch of planting done. So I just wanted to show you where I planted everything. This will help to serve as a record for me as well, so that I know where I planted everything. But I planted a lot of my tomatoes into the beds, and I planted some peppers and some eggplants. I still have eggplants and peppers that I want to plant into containers, so I will take you along with that process when we get to it. But for right now, we've got a bunch of stuff in the garden beds, and so I just thought I'd share with you where I planted everything. Starting with this little bed here, I put in some container varieties. So I started right here with 3 pot jalapenos. So these are just like a traditional jalapeno, but it's a potapeno. So the plant itself is designed to be grown in containers. So it's a bit of a smaller size plant. I did plant 3 fairly close together. We'll see how that does. I am hoping that since it's a container variety, it will be okay being closer together like that, and should just grow fine and kind of fill in this whole area. These garden beds aren't super big. This is a 2-foot by 4-foot garden bed, so it's not, you know, this is not a 4-foot garden bed. So I think that the container varieties hopefully will help me kind of maximize this space. I left all my cups here so I could remember the varieties. Because over here I put in some of the patio baby eggplants. So again, a container variety eggplant. I think I put 4 here, and then there's some radishes growing in the middle. But you know, that's gonna be pretty jam-packed in there. It might be a little tight, but I also think that that they'll be okay and they can kind of spill. I'll leave room for them to spill and grow and just really fill in this whole container. We do have, or not container, raised bed. Then we do have some garlic and onions in this space, and I'll probably put in just a few flowers right here so that it'll kind of make little 4 kind of quadrants in this bed. But right now the corn salad right along the front is about to flower, and I'm kind of just curious to see what that flower looks like. So honestly, I'm just gonna leave it and see what happens. Then over here, I put in my tomatoes for the trellis. So, okay, so on this side of the trellis, we are going to do Juliet tomatoes. I put in some of the little spoon tomatoes and a Berry's Crazy Cherry. And as you can see, they're pretty small right now, but I wanted to just get them out of their seed cells. If you saw my last video, I just felt like they weren't doing so well, or maybe it was a couple videos ago. I felt like they weren't really doing so great in the seed trays, and I thought that maybe just by planting them out, it would just like let them, you know, just take off. And now we're starting the next few days, we're gonna be in the 80s Fahrenheit, so it should be kind of perfect weather for them to get going. It's actually, I'm gonna run the drip system here in a minute because it's starting to dry out. I did pop in over here a couple of my salad bush cucumbers, some millet, and a couple little chocolate cosmos. So those are gonna be like a black cosmo. And this millet, as it gets bigger, should get darker and darker in color. So that should be kind of an interesting mix together. And then we have the cucumbers. Typically I do direct sow my cucumbers, but I'm testing out starting them inside. So far they look really healthy, and I'm just gonna watch. I may pop in like another one maybe over in the corner so that we have kind of a succession, and just to kind of see the differences and experiment, because I've never really started cucumbers inside and then planted them out like this. So this is just my experiment. This is my year. I really want to get good cucumbers. Got the other plants out here just getting some sun. And then let's see, on this side of the trellis, I planted some more tomatoes. So I've got another Berry's Crazy Cherry, another Juliet, and then a Sun Gold. So just a bunch of cherry kind of saladette. The Juliet's like a saladette sized tomato. The Berry's Crazy Cherry is a cherry tomato, obviously. And then the spoon tomatoes are like the teeny tiny. They have like tomatoes that are itsy bitsy, kind of just, I think they'll be fun for my daughter to pick, really. That's why I'm planting them out, because they'll be like these little itty bitty tomatoes. And then the Sun Gold is like a really pretty prolific, you've probably seen it in garden centers and stuff. It's a nice rich kind of golden cherry tomato, really sweet, really yummy. And if you want a tomato plant that is just going to grow and produce, Juliets are great for that, and sun golds are exceptional. They'll just grow super tall, and Juliets too really lasted long into the season. I would say Juliets and sun golds are the two that I've found that have really like just kept going throughout the season and kept growing, and I haven't had any major like lulls in production, even in the heat of the summer, which you know sometimes happens with tomatoes. Then I planted a few along this fence here. As you'll see from the sun right now, it's about noon right now, they get a bit of morning shade. They do get some sun in the afternoon, and obviously as they grow up this fence, they'll get eventually reach the sun. And I'm experimenting with that as well to see if I can utilize this space next to the fence and trellis them up it. And then also to see if a little bit of that kind of like shade helps again keep my production going, because since they tend to lull in the heat of the summer, if they get a bit of shade, I'm curious if that'll just help, and maybe we can get a little bit of a longer harvest. So these are more of my beefsteak. So this is where I planted all the big beefsteak tomatoes, because even if they're heavy, I can attach them to the fence. We've got a hillbilly, let's see, mountain merit. I gotta take these out, but I just left them all here because I figured I would need to remember. A mountain merit, and then we did country taste. I have another Juliet that I popped in here, and then big beef. You can see these plants are pretty healthy actually. I'm happy with how these seedlings look. They look pretty good, and they've got their own drip system over here, and so I assume they'll just grow all the way up the fence. This is about a what, 5-6 foot fence, so they can grow all the way up there. They can reach the sun. I can use some twine to attach to the fence to keep them sort of staked up essentially up the fence, and hopefully that'll really work pretty well. So those are all the tomatoes. I'm trying to think if I planted anything else out. I know I threw some chamomile seeds here and there just to sort of, I don't know, just for fun. I love chamomile. I think it's such a pretty herb, and I just wanted to get a little bit of that going. So I'm just going to turn the sprinklers on for all these seedlings and let them get a little bit of water, since we just did transplant them and it's hot today. I feel very confident that we are past our last frost. So I would not be planting out all of these seedlings if I felt like we were gonna get, you know, maybe a frost or even really any cold nights. But I think all of our nights, from what I can tell, looking at the forecasts, we should not have any nights in the 30s. They should all be in like the 40s Fahrenheit, which should be totally fine. Let me just get the seedlings in the greenhouse. Which should be totally fine for all of these plants. They can handle temperatures in the 40s. Now, a lot of people will say that if like the longer you can wait for peppers and things to get out here, the better. And I do think that's true. Like if you can wait until your nights are nice and warm, it's always good. I am just like, let's face it, I'm just impatient, and I'm never going to wait fully until, I don't know, you know, Mother's Day or something. I think that's when people say it's like the best time. And sometimes, you know, even your plants do better if you wait. Like then they'll actually really take off because they have the warm temperatures that they really need. And I definitely think that probably all of that is true. I just know that for me, I'm ready to start planting, and I just wait until the nights are like in the 40s, and then I just start planting out. But I am trying to take it a little bit slow this year. The garden centers are just now starting to have stuff, so there's definitely time, and there definitely isn't, for me, luckily there isn't a huge rush. We have a pretty long growing season, so I gotta make sure I get these seedlings over here. Gotta make sure I get everything that I planted over here as well. We have a long growing season. Our growing season doesn't end until the end of October. I could totally wait until Mother's Day. And if you're in my zone 7A in Virginia here, and you are more patient than I am, I think waiting for Mother's Day is probably a great policy. But I just can't do it. Plus, like these cucumbers, they're ready. They're ready to get in the ground. All right. So that is everything that I have planted out as far as the tomatoes and everything so far. I have a ton of peppers and some more eggplants, and even a couple of the dwarf tomatoes, micro tomatoes that I still need to find homes for. A lot of those are gonna go in containers, so I'm gonna sort out where I want them to go. I'm gonna take a few over to the community garden plot that I share, and probably plant some out in there, and I'll kind of keep you posted as we go along. So I've just gotta keep these guys alive, help the other ones transition. Hopefully we're gonna get some rain in the next couple days. I think tomorrow we're gonna get some rain, so that'll be nice too. I do like, if I can, to time out planting seedlings to, like, if there's a few days of rain coming, which in Virginia, that's often the case. We get a lot of nice spring rains. That's pretty typical for us to be rainy. So if I can, I like to look at the forecast and then plant everything out when we're gonna have rain. I think it just helps. It's not quite as intense on the seedlings, and they get, they just get a little bit of an easier time with being planted into the ground. Now these guys, I have got to remember to bring into the unheated greenhouse tonight so they don't get rained on and they don't get flooded. If you have any chance of rain, you want to get these kind of seedlings inside, in somewhere safe, under a covered porch or something, because yeah, if you've ever left your seedlings out in the rain, then you know that it's not good. So anyways, that is the garden today, a little update. I hopefully will get it kind of cleaned up and put back in shape. I feel like this time of year I'm always like making a big mess, cleaning it up, making a big mess, cleaning it up, but whatever. The house is like that too. All right. Thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll talk to you next one. Bye-bye.